Bitcoin has pushed up over 10% since the 6th of September. The question now is this now a new uptrend, or are we just looking at a relief rally with some more pressure to the downside? In today's video, I am going to be taking a look at BTC's price action on the 1 hour and 1 day time frame, sharing my thoughts and opinions as to where I think the price action of BTC is heading. As I get into today's video, if you do find it useful and informative, smash that like button. If you are new to the channel, go ahead and subscribe, and let's take a look at what's going on with Bitcoin's price action. So here we have Bitcoin paired up with USDT. We're on the 1 hour Binance chart here, and you can see here that since the 6th, when we tapped into this low range of expectation, so we were thinking about the price coming down to 50,421 to 52,993. We can see that we came down here at 2100 on the 6th, that's UTC time, with a low coming in at 42,550, right? And so great push to the downside. We were thinking that maybe there was this move a little bit deeper, but obviously we broke through the 50 EMA 50 SMA over here on the 8th of September, and we see another break of the 200 EMA, the white line coming through the chart here, coming in yesterday at 1600 hours with this push up to these previous areas of resistances as noted on our chart. Now, in the last few hours, we have seen a little bit of a decrease in the Bitcoin price action. We're down about 2.59%, heading down towards that 200-hour EMA, currently sat at $56,307. If we can find support here, we can have the potential for a bit of a run to the upside. So that's the expectation: find support and then run. If we take a look at the stochastic RSI on the 1 hour time frame, you can see that we've come down to this area that we currently find ourselves in twice before, and we rallied every time. We're coming down here now, so we have the possibility to be thinking, okay, well, is this a third touch of this area around the mid-level of the stochastic, so around that 50 level of the stochastic RSI, where we then start to think about that next run to the upside. So again, great support being found on this idea here. So bullish trend on the smaller time frame, I think, is where we sit. Okay, so noting that there's likelihood that we'll find support on the 200 EMA. Of course, the way to trade this, in my opinion, will be to look for us to find support, confirm support, and then go long. Okay, so we can go long around the 200 EMA with support, tight stop loss lower than the 200 EMA, and then of course we'll target out some of those resistances. But we are going to be looking for 1.5 on the risk reward ratio, be my approach to it. So it doesn't have to be a massive move. With some leverage, we can be taking some pretty decent profit. Okay, so hypothetically, I would be looking for something like this with entry around 56,489, stop loss around 56,132, and take profit around 57,032. Okay, that would be the kind of approach on a long. Now, of course, if we do lose the 200 EMA, I'd be looking for a short position, confirmed breakdown from the 200 EMA, tight stop loss above, and we target out some of the previous areas of resistance come support, or alternatively 1.5 on the risk reward ratio, which is my preferred way of doing this, which will be looking at something similar to this, right? It'll be a 56,186 entry, stop loss at 56,627, and take profit at approximately around that range of 55,674. Okay, so again, we're looking to trade the breakout or breakdown from the 200 EMA on the hourly chart, in my opinion. Smart money concepts, we turn that on, shows that there is a fair value gap here, lower than the 200 EMA, down more towards the 50 EMA, 50 SMA, and equilibrium. Okay, so this is currently coming in on this previous area of resistance come support. Okay, so we are talking about equilibrium really sitting at the 55,394 to about the 55,686. So again, at some point we are looking for that fair value gap to probably get filled out. Again, we can see the stochastic RSI on the 8 hour and 4 hours are overbought, so we are looking for that breakdown, and we are not likely to find a long-term support level here. So are we in an upward trend? I don't think we are. I think it's more of a relief rally with continued price pressure to moves to the downside. Would love to be wrong on that, but I suspect we are still looking for significant slippage to the downside on the bigger picture. Okay, so smart money concepts is quite interesting, but it's not going to be the big kind of telling moves, I think, for BTC. Now, if we come into our stochastic RSI, turn that off and bring on the relative strength index with the divergence indicator, you can see that we became overbought here, and we are now progressing down. We will be looking to see whether there's any hidden bullish divergence, or just bullish divergence, standard bullish divergence in here for that next move to the upside. I am looking for a little relief rally on the 1 hour time frame before we see the bigger pull to the downside, which I do think they are likely to occur. As a minute, we can see great moves to the upside on the 1 hour time frame, but these are just smaller 1 hour time frame movements, not bigger macro structures or anything like that. If we bring the volumes in here, you can see that volumes were and are decreasing as we had that last little push to the upside. But as we're having this correction towards the 200 EMA, we also note that the selling pressures are also decreasing. That means that we are likely to find support here, in my opinion. So we'll be looking for that really small long position on the hourly chart, in my opinion. Okay, so lots to play for on the 1 hour time frame, right? There's lots going on, but these are all small movements which we can take advantage of through kind of longs and shorts and kind of leverage based trades. They can help you a little bit with dollar cost averaging into kind of positions, but really for that, you want to look at the bigger picture. For that, we are going to, of course, jump back into the charts where we take a look at the daily chart rather than the hourly. So if I bring this up to the daily chart, here you can see we are still lower than the daily 200 EMA. We are looking for a death cross here, which is the 50 EMA, 50 SMAs, the yellow line specifically being the 50 simple moving average, crossing lower than the 200 exponential moving average, the white line. We're probably about a week or so out of that, which would coincide with the Federal Reserve pivot, a death cross looming, and we'll be looking for a significant shift to the downside. So from a traditional way of looking at the market on the daily time frame, we are bearish on BTC. There's no bullish structures here as far as I can see. We have lower highs and lower lows on the kind of daily time frame ever since we kind of saw that local high coming in at $65,000. And since we lost these areas and we have this little relief rally, so we hit the targeted range just, and we're moving up, find a resistance where we have previous consolidation, and then we're looking to see rejection here once again, okay? Now, our stochastic RSI is approaching the overbought area, so it's aggressively already moving up there. So I suspect that we're likely to see big reversals soon. Not yet, probably a few days out, but we will be looking to test out the 200 EMA, I think, on the daily time frame. So again, pushing up more towards 59,299. Maybe we can even get a wick towards that $60,000 rejection levels, which is what we can see previously up in this range. So that could be something really interesting. Previous test of that again, get rejected, further slippage to the downside on the daily time frame. Horrible to kind of say that we're super bearish, but ultimately that is kind of what we've been talking about for quite some time here on the daily time frame. If I zoom out of this, you know, we are still in a bullish pattern on a macro, like a weekly chart. All of that is still incredibly bullish. The patterns, the overlapping nature of all of that is bullish, but we have to appreciate that we are still in bearish structures, bearish times here, and we are still targeting out $40,295 to $43,800. That is still the targeted range. We are looking for that break to the downside, but I suspect that we probably have to test out that $60,000 level first before we get down there. Ultimately, everything's kind of playing out as planned and as expected. When we do kind of move down into these lower ranges that I think a lot of people are going to be shocked by, it will kind of mark a kind of 40 to 45% correction from March, which will be in line with the expectations of where I thought we would see Bitcoin during a Federal Reserve cut, interest rate cut, and pivot. Now, I think the market's had plenty of notice, which is why it's trying to price it in. 𝗕𝗘𝗪 continues to be a thing, but for the most part, everything is kind of playing out as we've been expecting. If we lose the $40,000 level, well, that's going to spell a bit of a disaster down quite aggressively, actually. I would say we'll be heading to 38, maybe finding hopefully a little bit of support around 35. Can't hold that. You're talking 30, 31, which I don't think is likely to be the case. And under those kind of scenarios, we are talking more bear market territory, in my opinion. But the structure as it remains today on the daily and the macro zoomed out picture is very much still bullish with the overlapping candlestick nature, indicating that we are likely to see a big swing to the upside on a macro scale. So 2025 still looks like a very, very good year for crypto. I don't think that's going to change any. Obviously, there's a lot going on with the US election, all that kind of stuff. But for the most part, everything here is looking very, very good. But just expect more volatility, as we've been talking about already. Pushes to the upside, pulls to the downside. Looking for 40,000, 44,000, somewhere in that range. And yeah, for the most part, everything's kind of playing out as we've been kind of talking about and articulating for a little while now on the channel. So hopefully you found this video useful and informative. If you have, smash the like button. If you're new, subscribe. And if you haven't done so already, check this video out right here. It's not one you're going to want to miss.